And welcome back to Electric Bike Mark. On this video I'm going to be riding the AIPAS F3 Max. As you see it right there, it is a 48 volt 750 watt motor folding e-bike. And what I want to talk about on this video is when buying an e-bike from a company in 2027, what will a legal e-bike look like? I get this question. Where are we going with this? What are our e-bikes going to look like, the legal ones, in 2027? So in 2027, a legal e-bike bought from a commercial manufacturer will look like a traditional bicycle, but will feature prominent safety certification labels, hard-coded class stickers, and integrated safety lighting. To crack down on high-speed e-moto and battery fires, federal state laws have eliminated major regulatory loopholes. If you purchase a bicycle from a retail company, it must meet several strict physical and technological criteria to be street legal without a driver's license or registration. Mandatory safety and battery certification labels. UL certification stamp. The bike's battery and electrical system must display a clear certification label for an accredited laboratory. Laws modeled after New York City's fire codes and California's SB 1271 ban the sale of any e-bike lacking UL 2849 for the full electrical drivetrain or UL 2271 for the battery. Tamper-evident class stickers. The frame will carry a permanent manufacturer label starting its precise class 1, class 2, or class 3, top motor speed, and motor wattage. Physical design and speed caps. Functional pedals. To be legally classified as an e-bike, it must have fully operational pedals. Models without pedals or those designed to resemble motorcycles are designated as motor-driven cycles or moped variants. 750 watt power cap. The motor can draw higher peak power under a heavy load, but the manufacturer's official spec sheet and nominal rating cannot exceed 750 watts. No secret unlock software. In 2027, it is illegal for companies to include hidden software menus, physical toggle wires, or app overrides that easily convert a 20 mile per hour bike into a 40 plus mile per hour machine. Top speeds are hard-coded out of the factory. Class 1, pedal assist only, motor cuts off at 20 miles per hour. Class 2, throttle allowed, motor cuts off at 20 miles per hour. Class 3, pedal assist only, motor cuts off at 28 miles per hour. Note, throttles that operate beyond a walking pace are explicitly banned on Class 3 models. Permanently integrated visibility equipment. Daytime safety lighting. Reflectors alone are no longer the standard. Legal e-bikes come equipped with permanently mounted front white lights and rear red lights or active flashing reflectors that function at all times, improving daylight visibility on busy roads. A note on regional exceptions. If a vehicle exceeds 28 miles per hour or uses a motor larger than 750 watts, it will no longer look or be treated like a bicycle. In states like Illinois and New Jersey, these high-powered devices require a standard driver's license, liability insurance, license plates, and a title. So let's hop on and talk a little bit about this. I think we're still in that transition period and it's kind of hard to get a read on everything. Next year will be a big year as far as settling in on some kind of laws that are going to be hopefully a little more consistent and easy to understand. Because right now it's like one big mix. And I don't like it when you get all these laws and then within the state that you're in, there's local ordinances and stuff, which makes it even harder to understand, you know? Most of us out there just want to ride the bike. We don't want to have to deal with all this other crap. So hopefully they make it clearly understandable, and I think to make it easier too, wouldn't it be just easy if you knew the bike you were purchasing was just, if you're wanting to stay perfectly legal, that you're buying a bike that is 100% legal and not having to worry that there's a loophole in there somewhere that the bike that you purchased has that could, you know, cause a problem down the road. I'd say the biggest thing right now is first of all, they're worried about speeds, right? Anything that goes over 20 miles an hour seems to be a problem, at least in the eyes of the law. They don't like it. I don't think they want any bikes that go over 20 miles per hour, honestly. And there's also a big push about throttles and also not liking the throttle. I don't know, I just wish it was more consistent. I wish it was just a straight law right across the board that could satisfy everybody, but there's no such thing, right? You know, everybody has their own ideas and stuff, and it makes it hard for the average Joe out there to understand what they can or cannot do, or what they can or cannot buy. I would say this: if you're looking to buy a bike and you want to stay 100% legal, do not unlock the bike. Your bike's a lot of times going to come at that 20 miles per hour, and just leave it there. Don't even attempt to unlock it, because sometimes unlocking the bike doesn't just unlock the pedal assist. Sometimes the throttle goes up to 28 when you unlock it, and it's not specified about that, right? So it makes it hard to know that that's even happening. There is some talk about motor wattage. You know, it stands now at 750 sustained, as I read to you, but there is talk about this switching in some areas and maybe everywhere eventually to 750 watt peak, which I don't like. But you know what? I see some other talk coming where we could turn into Europe. I don't know if this is going to get enough traction and happen or not, but nothing would surprise me, honestly, with the way things have gone these days. So what we're looking at is, I cranked my pedal assist up to 4 and then the bike took off here. What we're looking at is, how about this? How about a 250 watt motor and a speed limit of 15.5? How would that sit with you? I don't think that's going to sit too well with a lot of people. You know, taking a bike down from 28 to 15 and a half is a big difference. That's almost 50%. That's a lot. if you're in a vehicle that goes 60 miles an hour and you cut it down to 45, that's a lot too, but it's not as noticeable as when you go from 28 down to 15.5. That's a big difference. So that one's going to be hard to swallow if that ever comes to be. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on the situation. I'm going to turn my assist level down to 3 since I'm in a lower area here, or a slower area, I should say. It could be lower, I don't know, a few feet. But you know, all the laws, you may as well have all these different laws hanging on a tree, piece of paper, and just blindfold yourself and pick one off the tree. That could be your law for where you are. That's how it seems to be, a crapshoot. You might have lawmakers in your area that are anti-e-bikes, and that's not good at all, because they're not going to side with you in any way. They won't even look at the positives, the e-bikes. I think they just make their mind up that they're evil, and let's do our best to try to get rid of them. And then you get the side, you might get lucky and get the side where one or two in there are pushing e-bikes because they've ridden them themselves and they know all about them and how much they benefit the public and society. I just hope they don't ruin a good thing that we have here. They can fine-tune things a bit, but don't completely shut things down, you know? Hello. But 2027 will be an interesting year, and then 2028, we're going to even be more settled in. I have looked a little bit about where this could go in the future, like 2030, but I think that's might be a little too far to look in the future because things are pretty fluid and changing rapidly. It kind of makes it difficult in a way for those who are buying a bike right around now or just purchased a bike. And when they purchased the bike, the laws are fine, you know, for what they bought and all that. Then you get a year down the road into next year or the year after, and all of a sudden the bike you purchased that you thought was perfectly fine and legal gets cut down, you know, like you know, it's got too big of a motor or it goes too fast or what have you. I just hope that we don't get to the point for sure 100% where you never unlock the bike, but the bike is capable of going 28. Say you keep it at 20, which I've been doing lately. I've been keeping the bikes at 20, but a few of them I unlocked. Sometimes people do want to see what the maximum speed is of the bike, right? And the only way you're going to see that is unlocking it, but you can lock it back up, I suppose. I suppose you can go on private property unlocked and then come back onto the public roads locked, but that's a pain, right, to have to switch it all the time. So yeah, I just don't want it to become where you get millions of bikes out there that are suddenly illegal. And if they take them from you, what do they do with them all? Sometimes I think that there's just, you know, throwing law on top of law on top of law and not actually implementing the law, you know? Like, I see kids on bikes here, like the law is supposed to be, I think the age is 14 here. I'm not positive now, I forget. It's 14 or 16. There's so many different laws, I forget which state has what, but I see kids a lot younger than that. I see kids that are even under 12 years old riding bikes, little dirt bikes, and they're on the sidewalk with them. But nothing seems to get done. I don't see anybody stopping them, so hey, if they don't stop them. And also I wonder where the parents are in all this. Like, do you allow your kid, say the kid is 11 or 12 years old, do you allow the kid to ride, or do you know your kid is riding on a sidewalk with this dirt bike that you purchased for them? Obviously they didn't purchase it themselves. And I mean, do you even care? Yeah, I'm gonna turn around in here. Because I think parents have to assume some responsibility. I'm gonna turn around here. Because they're the one that purchased the bike for the kid, and do they have an area that they purchased the bike for the kid to ride that's like private property, or did they buy the bike knowing that the kid's gonna ride on public streets, sidewalks? Anyway, we're in interesting times right now, for sure. Lots of cars coming. I have to wait a minute. I'd pull halfway out, but I don't want anybody to be turning in here. Like, here comes a guy. No, he's changing lanes. I thought he was coming in here. Okay. I think I can get out there quickly. Yeah, I don't want them to ruin a good thing. E-bikes are getting a lot of people out there that otherwise couldn't. Let's face it, if you've got to ride a mobility scooter and you can get yourself on a bicycle or tricycle that's electric, that's a lot cooler, right? To ride an electric bicycle or an e-trike. And yeah, that car's gonna kind of wait for me. Anyway, let's keep enjoying our e-bikes and hope that we're able to still do it without any issues. Okay, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you very much for joining me today on Electric Bike Mark. And hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, thank you very much. Just hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified as to when the next video comes up on the channel, just hit that notification button or bell. And if you want to leave a comment on this or any other videos that you've seen on the channel, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. Again, thank you for joining me on this video, and until next time, be safe everyone, and keep your wheels on the road. See you later.